Good morning, everyone. You all had a great weekend. Good morning, Jacob. Um, if you wouldn't mind muting your mic, unless you have questions, feel free to unmute. Um, so so far, click on the 4 hour. We started to drive higher at the open, towards this buy side. Um, Pulled back a bit. We're inside this 5 minute bullish gap in here. Uh, Bullish 5 minute. Kind of have this breaker in here. We have this swing high, some highs in here. I'm looking at this little bearish gap in here, right? Because this was the order flow. So bearish order flow to the left, tapped in there, came lower, opened back up into here, right? London high swept. So we got a huge displacement upwards. Tapped into this 5 minute. So just kind of watching to see how do we react in here. Um, right, so you always want to look at the order flow and PD raise, right? We're watching what's being respected and what's being disrespected. So lots of accumulation in here, right? Um, 1 minute here. Looks very choppy throughout here. So coming into the session here at 10 a.m., I want to mark up the open, right? We have 10 a.m. open. Then we have our 9:30 open. So if we're anticipating higher prices, probably want to see this, yeah, a sweep, right? Because the open was bullish. So it's heading towards our anticipated direction. So we want to get some sort of sell side liquidity taken first, and then show signs um, of going higher. Okay. So what we're talking about here is opening profiles, right? So we're talking about 9:30 opening profiles. So if you watch the weekly outlook, we're kind of anticipating this buy side liquidity into this 15-minute, 1 hour, and 1 hour bearish breaker. So we left this high. We hit this 5 minute, turned around here, right? So we have some sell side in here and Asia lows. Okay. But if we're anticipating higher prices, 9:30 opening, if our bias is bullish and the opening is bullish from 9:30, then we want sell side taken first, right? And then show signs and signatures that we're going to go higher, right? This is our model that we're looking for. It's going to be a point of interest at a time of interest. So we look, no 15 in here. We have this one. Uh, 15-minute bullish gap kind of tapped into these lows in here. Look on the 1 hour, 30-minute. So 30-minute gap in here. Nope. So we have a measure of like point of interest, right? So we now are potentially, right? We want to anticipate our formation of a mitigation block or a breaker, right? Um, and then so so now if we're going to take buys, let's just say at this current moment, do you guys see where the potential breaker is being formed and where we would need to close above and invert in order to look at potential buys? Just type a yes or a one in the chat if you want. One. So we have this low, high, lower low. Okay. If we're just looking at the bearish order flow in here, right? Short-term order flow, this high is trading into this PD array, this gap, right? Bearish. So notice the order flow, right? Respected, down, respected, lower, so far respected, right? So the only sign so far is this bearish gap. This 1009 candle, we've closed above now. See that? And we've created this bullish gap in here. Right? So potential change in the state of delivery here, but we want to see how we react in here and ultimately above these highs. Right? We failed to get into this 30-minute gap, and there's really there's a small volume imbalance here. 3 minute, 4 minute. 5 minute. So I guess we tapped this volume imbalance in there. So there's a small PD array in there. We've respected this, right? But the most important thing, right, is time. So where's our window? We're in 9:45. 10:15. So we also want to remember to go up time frames, look at 5 minutes, see how PD rays are being respected in here. So far, we have continued to close inside this 5 minute, new 5 minute candle in here. Ten 15. Is there any significance of fair value gap and inversion fair value gap at 9:30? 9:30. This this one? 9:30 candle tapped into and flew. That's the open. Yeah. This is the 9:30 open, right? So you want to wait 9:30 to 10, let the opening range do its thing, right? So now we have nice rejection off of there. Also, second time inversion fair value gap. Um, yeah, this is not inside. If we're being disciplined and strict, we're looking for 9:45 to 10:15 as the model here. We just want to note where the 9:30 opening is, right? Just like we would want to know where midnight opening price is. It's underneath us, right? So price has a possibility to come back to midnight opening price here. A better buy would be underneath midnight opening price and underneath 9:30 opening, underneath the 10 a.m. opening, right? Um, Now, if you're trading 8:45, right? If we look at 8:45 to 9:15, you have tap into this 30, you have a breaker, low, high, lower low, this candle's high, over in time. We close above it here, right? These two up close candles, bullish breaker, dip back into it. So any gaps in here, you can be a buyer towards this short-term buy side. Or how can we know how far it's going to go, right? Well, we measure the breaker leg, right? This manipulation leg lower. We pull it from the low to the high because that's the direction we're trading in, right? From down to up. And you look, negative 3 to 4 is your turtle soup area, very overextended. Comes right above 4, and then we drop. So same thing. We're looking 9:45 to 10:15. This is 8:45 to 9:15. I typically just don't like trading the open because this could have just dumped. But if you'd like to demo this, backtest this, if you want this to be your model, 8:45 to 9:15, same principles apply. Same thing would be 6:45 to 7:15 or 7:45 to 8:15. So notice how respecting this gap in here, this breaker, weekly opening price. Now, the only thing that can pull it lower is on Thursday and Friday. We had this like new day opening gap below us. So this could be something later in the week we tap into below. There's some clean sell side underneath Asia. We're also above midnight opening price. So if we were to drive higher, right, buy side liquidity, then tapping into this higher time frame 15-minute and this 1 hour breaker would be a nice area to look for some nice sell off. So far respecting this. So look at this bearish gap, right? We're reading the candles. We have 10 seconds. This closes above. This is a nice disrespect here, potentially. We dip beneath 9:30 one more time. Tapped into this breaker from over here. These two up close. So now this is a nice inversion. So We'll do one contract. Any ticks? One. Whoa, 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 whoa. See if it drops down one more time. Get this inversion. 50% respected there. Let's take it off the rip here, I guess. Mm. This candle has no bottom wick, so I want to see if it comes back. Taps in here. Buy side would be 116. Now remember, we're above midnight, so it lowers the chances of a little bit of the probability. But so far, we're kind of respecting bullish price action here. Um, it's just this in here. So if you want to wait for a stronger confirmation of close above this and see if we can get past there. But I'm going to take one small um, buy here, and I'm going to put my stop just under the breaker here. Turn off the executions. Buy side there. Now it's Monday, right? So just using this for study purposes. This is just practice. So I'm already mentally accepting this as a loss. Okay. So coming that I'm not expecting this to be the greatest trade in the world or a trophy trade or lean my whole career on this one trade. We're just reading price and seeing are we going to be correct in our analysis so far? Or do we come lower into this 30-minute, take some sell side in here, right? So we're watching now this bullish gap in here. So we're just following price action as we're creating PD arrays. Right? What's being respected, what's being disrespected. Now the next time checkpoint, right, we're coming up on is 10:30, right? Why? Why 10:30? Does anyone know what 10:30 is? Reversal, potentially. Yeah. Why else? What else is 1030? SMT with ES. Let's see. Nice. Yep. Some SMT there. The lows. 1030 specifically is the London close, right? So we could get a lot of volume coming in, right? London's market on close, orders being filled and put in, finalized, things like that, right? So based off of time, right? That's what could send us lower. So watching here, right? Bullish PD ray, next bullish PD ray is here. So this one was closed below. Five-minute inversion. Potentially, right? We close beneath this 5-minute in there, right? We have this small breaker in here, right? So we're just watching, right? The only thing that would keep us going higher here, right, is this bullish gap, and we have the 930 opening. So dipping beneath 930 opening as a power of three, right? Open, low. Same thing for the 10 o'clock open, right? We have this 10 o'clock open, power of three, open, low, right? So potentially catching the bottom wick of the 10-hour candle is the idea here. So based off our checkpoint, this gap we want to see respected, and we had this volume imbalance there, but watching this bullish breaker, right? So we want the upper end of this to be respected if it were to dip lower, right? But we do have SMT with ES, which is nice. So that helps us in our analysis. Or we could just consolidate around here and then move around 1045 because it's Monday, it's Memorial Day, right here in the States. So getting above this bearish gap in closing would be a nice confirmation higher. So this bearish gap, and we had this bullish gap overlapping. So nice little balanced price range in here. Nice. Right here around 10:30 or at 10:21 T. 10:30. Nice. Little dip here. So, right. You want to also remember trading environment, days of the week, right? So, depending on what the environment is, the day of the week, what price action is looking at, should also determine, excuse me, determine the amount of risk, how tight is your stop, right? This is Monday, it's Memorial Day. You know, we're starting to chop around here, so you don't want to put on size or over leverage or over risk, things like that. So we have this balanced price range now. So I am going to move my stop to 50%, just below 50% of this inversion and bullish gap at 930 to minimize risk. And there should be no reason for it to now come back down here and rework. If it does, I don't want to be in. I'd rather it take me out because then it's just going to mess around. Even if it were to come back, tap this and run, that's fine. I'd rather get taken out and it do whatever it wants after that than take this whole full stop, right? Just because if it comes back and even if it comes back, takes me out and then flies to take profit, that's okay. There's going to be another move, a better move that's going to be cleaner the next day, right? So if we can close above here, this could be potentially inversion. And then our next checkpoint is this, right? Up close candle as our breaker. So nice closure. This is also a 5 minute bearish gap in here. So just keep a note of that, right? So we're watching PD rays and how they react from a higher time frame. We have 15 minute rebalance, 5 minute bearish. Right, so we left this open. We'll move this out of the way. And now we have this small little bullish gap in here. Okay. So we know why we came off of these lows, right? And this one, we had SMT. This is a higher breaker here, right? If we can close above this candle and get above this gap, it would be nice. We have this smaller internal breaker in here as well. We have this low, high, and then the lower low at 1021. So far, we closed above that one, right? Making this candle at 1016. Whoa, I don't want that. A smaller breaker in here. And we'll make this green. All right, so we have a breaker there. Bullish breaker. It would be nice if this can just fly here, right? Potential immediate rebalance, right? You have one candle, second candle is bullish. This one comes back and rebalances the first candle, kind of like a fair value gap right in here, but then flies fast, right? Immediately rebalanced and then higher. Because we now closed above this candle here. Oh no, not yet. I'm looking at the candle closure here. So we want to close above this high. Here we go. So now we have this breaker. So gonna go break even. But notice now how we're checking off PD rays as we're confirming higher prices, right? And reading price, managing the trade, what makes sense for it to hold, what PD rays would negate or cancel out your trade, things like that, right? I'll move this up a little bit so just so I can see the price there. So we close above in here. And there. I want to see this one close above here. Nice. So now this is, we want to see this used as support. So now what we can do is move our stops to just beneath 50% of this breaker. Right, managing the trade, not too tight, but where it makes sense. If it comes back down, we want it to respect this gap in here, right? Bullish PD ray, this next one. And this inversion as support, right? So we have double PD rays in here, left side of the curve respecting the right side of the curve. Our next bearish checkpoint is this gap, right? In here, we want to close above. Same thing, use as support. Same thing, we want to get up in here, use as support. Coming up on 1045. Down close candle as support, bullish order flow. Exactly. Exactly, Jacob. Now we have this one. Yeah. We have this is our buy side here and here. There's short-term buy side in here. But 15-minute, right? Internal range liquidity exactly. Spot on, Jacob. 15-minute, right? Now we can measure. We used this earlier for that, but we can take this measurement from this breaker. See this low, high, lower low in here. Let's see. Well, let's look at the liquidity in here. So we have this breaker, but I'm going to use this higher one here because this was the last lowest low inside of this session here. This is the manipulation leg that came down, and then we had SMT that started trade higher. So if we measure this range, right, from the low to the direction we're going up, and we can start measuring checkpoints in here, 2, 2.5, 3, right? 3.5 to 4 is your turtle. 3 to 4 is turtle soup. Um, we want to get up in here because this is like your silver bullet area, right? So we could come out here, reaccumulate, and take some really short-term internal liquidity, and then continue higher up into 2 to 2.5, same thing, consolidate or fly through, but we could reaccumulate and then get one more push up, right? So this area and then this area. 10:45, right? Now we're looking at time. So remove our stops to 50% of this inversion here, just underneath 50%. So now we're securing profits if it comes back on us. I was gonna say, right, based off of time, right? So we want this next macro to just run in our favor here now, right? It would be ideal for this to be left as our opening, an opening gap. Right. We can also use this as a measuring gap. Right. So from this low to here. So we use that breaker low to the bottom end of this opening gap, and you can get one standard deviation as your target. But it's Monday and holiday, so double low probability. Yeah, exactly. It's not the highest probability. Could it? Yeah. The market's gonna do whatever it wants, right? So now we've closed above this 5-minute. So nice bullish order flow coming into this 5-minute. Should have held it. Why? Well, I mean, if you took profits, you took profits, but we want to think reasonably, right? So checkpoints, PD raise, right? Next one's in here. We had this small little volume imbalance here. Does it close today? At 12. Okay. So gonna move my stops up to this underneath this volume imbalance. See how we react here. Coming up on 1050, right? So we're using time, right? Checkpoints. 1030 was a checkpoint. Now we have 1045 into 1050, the next macro. The next algorithm, computer algorithm run. So underneath this low, just managing the trade. Here's the thing. It could come, take this low out, internal liquidity, and then continue higher. So we're failing to get above this gap in here. Now I want to show you guys something over here. Around 948, 949, 950. Look at this area in here. Kind of have like these wicks in this candle body in here. So this is like an implied fair value gap. Okay. If this wick wasn't there, this would be a nice bearish gap, right? Notice this double wick kind of area. And if we move this to the right, we'll look at the candle bodies. So something to note there. So always look left and see P raise there. Nice push. Nice solid round number here. 900. So I want to see us just continue to like lots of speed here up higher. Like that. So now my stops, I'm gonna be more aggressive now to here. Tapping about that, almost that one in here. So now we have this closure. So just about one standard deviation is back into this 5 minute in here. Notice there, that lower end of this 5 minute gap. So that's this measuring gap. So here we have silver bullet area. Move our stops here aggressively. We could reaccumulate in here, pull back. So want to take profits. If it's going to come back, we'll get out, right? Coming up on 11 o'clock, holiday, take profits, secure profits. Ideally, right, we would want this to continue higher. Low hanging fruit, this little high in here. The extra reward would be this buy side and it playing out, right? Thanks, T. Awesome. Hopefully she's picking up some nuggets here with us, some gems. Also, congrats on all your hard work and all your offers and stuff like that. Well deserved. So again, notice how this candle doji, then we have this pass through, next candle came down, almost touched in here. So there's a small little tiny imbalance there, but we would want to see this as immediate rebalance and then speed, right? Treating this as a gap, invisible gap there, and then right through it. Four, three, two. Boom. All right, guys. So this one was super insightful. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, followed along as we're checking off PD arrays, price action, right? Confirming, unconfirming certain directions, right? Using the higher time frame, the mid time frame, 5 minute and down. All right, guys. So enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Memorial Day to everyone. Thank you to those who have served. If we have those in the chat and in the Discord, guys, take the day, enjoy it with family, rest, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Any questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to tag me or ask us in the bootcamp channel. Um, I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day, everybody. You're welcome, Jacob. Take care.